Welcome back, folks, to WWE Network and Chill, where every single Monday I, Graham G.S. Matthews, run down all the original programming I watch on the WWE Network. Today we're talking the latest episode of WWE Ride Along, airing last week after Raw, called, I think, Wilkes-Barre Way? Bear, I'm not really sure how you pronounce that, but Wilkes-Barre Way, I don't know. But anyway, it's the latest Ride Along on the WWE Network, featuring Sheamus and Cesaro, fresh off winning the tag team titles at Extreme Rules in Baltimore. And then in the other car, we got Kurt Angle and The Big Show. So again, this was taped only about a month ago. All the other episodes, the last one before this that I talked about last week here on WWE Network and Chill, with Jericho, Tom Phillips, Corey Graves, and Nia Jax, was filmed like back after Roadblock. That was like 6-7 months ago. This one is very, very fresh, only being filmed about a month ago. So again, Sheamus and Cesaro fresh off beating the Hardy Boys at the pay-per-view to win the Raw Tag Team titles. Kurt Angle and Show, before they get in the car, argue over who's driving. Sheamus calls Cesaro a horrible driver, which rings to be true, which ultimately ends up being true later on in the episode. So this was pretty funny. As they're leaving the arena, Sheamus, as he's driving, spots a fan wearing a Sheamus shirt. And he goes, "Hey, look, the one fan with the Sheamus shirt. Let's try to say hi." I don't think the guy noticed, but how, surreal would that be if, one of your favorite wrestlers that you're wearing their t-shirt for at, one of the shows, and then as they're leaving the arena, they see you and they wave to you because you're, the only one wearing one of their shirts? I'm talking Bo Dallas or something. You're the only one wearing a Bo Dallas shirt, and then he's leaving the arena and he waves to you. How cool would that fucking be? If he's your favorite wrestler of all time, that would be hilarious. But just the way that Sheamus, or rather Cesaro, said, "Hey, look, the one Sheamus fan wearing one of your shirts," was pretty funny. So Big Show talks about driving to Tampa from wherever they were on 9/11 with Sean Stasiak. I don't know what the exact context of the story was, but he talks about that in the car with Kurt Angle. Sheamus says that Cesaro should yodel more, which I'm shocked they didn't show footage of Sheamus yodeling from years ago. Remember that was his gimmick in early 2013? Atrocious. That was so fucking terrible. But I'm really, they might have been poking fun at that, but they didn't show any clips of it. Usually they do, but they didn't, which was interesting. I'm glad they didn't. It's better off forgotten anyway. Big Show talks about getting in shape. He mentions his match with Akibono at WrestleMania 21 when he weighed, 400 plus pounds, and how he looked fat as hell in that weird diaper-ass suit. So he shares a funny story about that. Sheamus jokes about his old theme song, and Cesaro brings up how people would fuck up the lyrics and stuff and say too many limes instead of too many lies. And then they had a lyric video to Sheamus' old theme song with the lyrics that people made up for the song, including too many limes and I'm a lobster head and whatever, which was pretty funny. They made light of that joke, that recurring joke that lasted for many years and years and years. They were leaving Baltimore, so Sheamus mentions how in Baltimore, in addition to winning the tag team titles that night at Extreme Rules, that it was in that same city 7 years earlier at, I think, also Extreme Rules, where he beat Triple H. And he retired him, at least for the time being, at least for another 10 months or so, where he beat the shit out of him. He bro-kicked him 5 times. So I had completely forgotten about that it was in the same city at that same exact pay-per-view. They're mocking Sheamus about, his Irish culture and how he talks and whatever, his language. Cesaro does. Big Show shares a story about eating Whataburger with Kurt Angle. Sheamus brings up the Dolph Ziggler match from Payback 2015, the Kiss My Arse match, which was stupid, but it was a good match from what I can remember. Kurt Angle recalls shooting Big Show with the tranquilizer gun many years ago. Apparently, from what Big Show made it sound like, it was Big Show's idea, because he said he was flipping through the channels one night a few days before SmackDown, and he saw a gorilla get tranquilized, and how he saw it immediately just get angry and then go down. So I feel like Big Show either came up with the idea or helped contribute to the idea from what he had said here, which is pretty interesting. They talk about, Big Show shares this really funny story, how they were overseas at the Tribute to the Troop shows, I think in Iraq or whatever, Afghanistan, one of those years, many, many years ago, and he's sleeping on his air mattress when someone comes over and pops the air mattress. That's one angry fucking giant you got in your hands there when you're popping his air mattress. The culprit? None other than Vince McMahon, For some reason, that does not surprise me, but I thought that was so funny when Big Show shared that story. I thought that was great and so typical of Vince McMahon from what we've heard about the guy over the years. Sheamus talks about having an Irish army. I don't know what the hell he was talking about there. Kurt Angle recalls his story. He shares his experience being a sports broadcaster called Angle on Sports was what the segment was called. How it turned into one massive disaster. He fucked up his lines. The lights went out. The teleprompter went out. It was one big disaster, he said. It was just the end of his career as a sports broadcaster right then and there. Sheamus and Cesaro talk about Irish singers. They thought that, what's his name, Ed Sheeran was an Irish singer. He's actually not. He's English, but they come up with all these different Irish singers, and Cesaro's joking around and whatnot. Big Show, for whatever reason, shares this story about Hulk Hogan wanting to impress an attendant, a flight attendant at one of the matches who he had gotten her a front row seat, and he's like flexing in front of her during a match with Andre the Giant. Andre has none of this. He gets pissed. So he takes Hogan for shoot, takes him in the corner of the ring, sits down on him, and poops on his chest. That's so fucking gross. And then Andre goes to the person in the front row, the flight attendant, this cute young flight attendant, and he goes, "Do you want anything to do with him now?" or whatever. And I thought that was so funny. Again, Big Show with the king of stories here on this show. Sheamus starts singing. Angle says, "I'm never retiring," Ric Flair style. And then he discusses his future opportunities and career opportunities, what he wants to do beyond wrestling when he's eventually done. And then to end the episode, Sheamus falls asleep. And that's about it for the Wilkes-Barre Bar, however you pronounce it, Way episode of Ride Along that aired last week after Raw. So, again, not the most newsworthy episode. I enjoyed the KO episode more, the Jericho episode with Phillips, Graves, Jericho, and Nia Jax Moore from the week prior. But this was still a good show. Sheamus and Cesaro were a fun duo. Cesaro is just a complete goof. He's so funny, so I love Sheamus in this, or rather, I mean, Sheamus is good too. I love Cesaro in this setting. But Kurt Angle and Big Show, they were also very good. Big Show, I thought, stole the show here. He was the real MVP of this episode, sharing a lot of funny stories about the Tranquilizer and the Hogan-Andre story and the Whataburger story and all this other stuff. So again, check it out when you can on the WWE Network, Wilkes-Barre Way from last week after Raw. Next week, right here on WWE Network and Chill, I will be talking about what's airing after Raw tonight on the WWE Network, that being the all-new episode of Bring It to the Table. What will they be talking about? I have no idea. So check that out next week right here on WWE Network and Chill. Or wait, no, that airs the 17th. So tonight, tonight's the Kurt Angle documentary. That's what's airing tonight. So I'll be talking about that next week here on the show, which I cannot wait to watch and check out. That looks like it's going to be amazing. So stay tuned for that next week right here on WWE Network and Chill. But in the meantime and in between time, guys, be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, subscribe to the channel. All your support is amazingly appreciated. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy Raw tonight. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.